Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm down in Belgrade and I'm staying just off of Republic Square, which is where I'm standing now. So we're gonna get into the video. We're gonna explore a few different places from the last time I was here, which was last April. This morning, we're gonna head into the Bohemian district and go check that out. Plus I have a lot of stuff planned that maybe doesn't show up in most tourist videos. Hopefully, since I did all the touristy stuff last year, we'll get into that. And I'm also going to do a hotel review of the hotel by the end of my stay, so look for that on the channel. Anyways, we'll get at it here and go and explore Belgrade. Okay, so we've made it down to the Bohemian zone, and this is kind of the main street that you're looking for. You'll notice it turns to cobblestone. And from my understanding, the Bohemian zone, at least in the old days, was filled with artists and poets and stuff like that, creatives. It's that kind of neighborhood. Now it's lined with all kinds of delicious Serbian restaurants, bars, and cafes, and kafanas and stuff like that. So we're gonna have a peek through and see what we can find. Now, mind you, it is February 19th, so a lot of touristy stuff may not be open, but it's an actual beautiful street. You can see here off to the side, here's a little Serbian restaurant. In the summer, it would be absolutely beautiful. They have all kinds of planters. There's a fountain just up there, and right up the street, there's a restaurant doing a traditional Serbian restaurant, or a Serbian breakfast, which is actually open. I already ate at Coffee Dream this morning. I love that place. Check this out, very artsy, lots of color around. Of course, Christmas, not that long ago. Look at that, they already got their pansies out. And well, when I left the hotel this morning, it was -5, but it was much warmer last week. And next week, when I leave, it's gonna be back up to like 13 and 14 degrees. And look at the massive mural here. It goes like probably 6 or 7 buildings. Absolutely beautiful. We'll go along and check some of it out here. That is awesome. Love this little car. Wicked. And this is just a restaurant. They have kind of traditional Serbian dishes and stuff like that in there. Really, really cool. Here's some more of the mural as we head down the street. Beautiful. And this is Zastava. Never heard of the car brand, but really interesting. All right, so I made it down to the end of that pedestrian street. It appears I might be a bit early in the day. I think we're sitting at about 10 o'clock, or maybe it's just because it's February. I'm gonna probably swing back through here a little later in the day. I might go back up the road and grab a quick coffee though. Some nice places. It's absolutely beautiful down here though. Highly recommend coming to check it out. Unfortunately, I didn't see this my first time through, and yeah, I probably should have. And the weather was about 30 degrees back then on that trip. So anyways, yeah, maybe we'll go grab a coffee somewhere and then we'll find out what we're gonna do next. All right, so I just stopped in for a little espresso and a snack, and they had some fried dough with served with jam on the side. And you really can't go wrong with fried dough. Of course, from buñuelos in Spain to beignets in New Orleans. These were phenomenal. Had a little texture on the outside, a little crunch, so a little different from a beignet. Of course, dusted with some confectioner's sugar and served with a nice plum jam on the side. Absolutely phenomenal little spot. And they have a great breakfast menu if you're looking for some traditional Serbian dishes. Definitely check this place out. It's one of the best spots I've seen for a Serbian menu for breakfast. Don't know the name of it. I'll try to figure it out and drop it below, but absolutely phenomenal. All right, so we're all finished up here for now, but I think I'm gonna come back for dinner someday. So I forgot to mention this area here, the Bohemian district, was inhabited by the gypsies originally, dating back to about the 1830s. And then the creatives moved in after that. Fantastic place to come and grab some traditional Serbian food and just hang out. Lots of cafes, you can do a rakia tasting, there's craft beer, there's everything up here. So anyways, right now I'm gonna head out and head towards the Danube. We're sitting at about 11 o'clock, the sun is shining, but it's still a bit cold in these kind of smaller streets. So I'm gonna head down the Danube. There's a great big huge park there, not the one with the fortress. We're going below, and I've never been there, so we're gonna go check it out, and I'll see what's on the way. It's about a 20-minute walk from here. We'll see what we come across. And I've only been down the road about 5 minutes, already came across another Orthodox church. I love the architecture style of these churches, absolutely amazing. And you can see the little image above the doorway there. Most likely that's mosaic, and they are absolutely beautiful. Too bad I wasn't a bit closer, but I'm heading the opposite direction, but absolutely amazing. And the place, there's so many churches here. So I'm currently walking down through the Dorcol neighborhood. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Obviously not a tourist zone, more of a residential neighborhood, all tree-lined streets, very, very beautiful. One thing you'll notice though, if you're up in the Republic Square kind of touristy area, a beer will run you about 330 to 350 dinars. Down here, take about $100 off of that, or 100 dinars off of that. So you're looking about 220, 230-ish for a beer, and to be expected. Obviously, they're gonna charge a little more in the tourist zone. But yeah, what a great neighborhood down here. I love it. It would be beautiful in the summer when all these leaves are in. All right, so I made it down to the Danube after a bit of a walk. Really nice though, really nice. Tons of construction going on back in this way. Literally right on the other side of this apartment complex, they have probably about half a kilometer or more, all ripped up. Looks like they're laying the foundation for some, I don't know, new buildings or new roads. Tons of construction going in there. You kind of go through the old and then new stuff starts popping up. But anyways, this is the, I guess, the promenade or the track down along the Danube. You can see all the homes over across the river, and we're gonna head this way, and eventually we will reach the fortress, or Kalemegdan Park. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. And we'll keep an eye out for these, they're like houseboats that have turned into bars. I believe they refer to them as splavs. Might be pronouncing that wrong. But it's supposed to be quite the nightclub culture here in Belgrade along the rivers, the Sava and the Danube. There's all these splavs where people go and party, hang out. I'm assuming more in the summer, but maybe not. Maybe it's all year round. Anyways, we'll keep an eye out, and yeah, we'll enjoy this little walk. It's absolutely gorgeous down here. Lots of rose bushes. These are, I believe, yeah, these are all roses, and they started already growing. You can see how the grass is green. It's -5 today, but it was warm before I came, and it's gonna be warm after. So anyways, we'll enjoy our walking, go check things out. All right, so I came across this huge complex here. Not exactly sure what it is. Something about a university there. That says Sky Experience. There's a whole bunch of sporting stuff around. So I'm assuming it has to do with some sport, maybe. This looks quite new. The other one looks a little bit older. This one here says fitness station and stuff. Not too sure. My internet seemed to have stopped working, so I can't use Google Translate anymore. But it's very nice down here along the promenade. So I just caught a sign in English, and it said athletes entrance. So this must be some kind of big, I don't know what it is, a pool, something to do with sport. Although basketball is huge here in Serbia, so could be something to do with basketball. Check this out. See all the birds over here. Oh, they got some swans, looks like ducks. Yeah, wow, very nice. Oh, I didn't even notice these lower levels here. It's all terraced down. Beautiful. Amazing to see these swans just kicking about here. Absolutely beautiful. And I believe, I don't know if it'll pick it up on the camera. Not sure where that is, but that might be Gardo's tower. Way, way, way off in the distance, which is on the list. But I could be wrong. I'm not sure about that. And if you're looking behind this kind of sporting complex, oh, you know what? I think it's a stadium. You can see all the lights. It must be, maybe it's a football stadium. Anyways, behind it is all brand new apartments. So you've seen the older ones down that way, and I said there was a ton of construction. Well, here's some of the finished product. I'll see if I can loop around the side. This is a huge complex, so not sure if I can get around it, but it's all brand new apartments all over there. Really nice location here on the Danube. All right, I came across this monument as I'm going down the promenade here, and this is a monument to the defenders of Belgrade from 1915. It was erected in 1988. Nice to see a little monument. I always love reading all these placards and stuff everywhere I go. I'm a big history guy, so really interesting. Anyways, we'll get going. I have no idea where this ends up besides somewhere by the fort. You can see the fort up there in the background. It might not come up on camera, but there's part of the Belgrade fortress up there. All right, so now we have switched from the Danube over to the Sava River. Check out this barge going by me here. And this is a rampart, part of the defenses here dating back to 1521. Tons of history here in Serbia. I absolutely love it. And looks like they've redone kind of this part of the promenade and the Sava cycling track, and we're heading down to kind of into the old center, or the old town here. You could see the Serbian flag and the big statue up at Belgrade Fortress just off in the distance. And over here, I believe, is Novi Belgrade or New Belgrade. Mostly offices and stuff like that over in that side. We might actually pop over there, check it out. I've never been, and I believe if you're into brutalist architecture, there is quite a few buildings over there. Apparently it's become quite the tourist attraction. I didn't go the last time, but it's supposed to be quite cool to go see, so maybe we'll check that out depending on the weather and stuff. I have quite a few days left here. So, well, this is day one in Belgrade. So yeah, we'll be here for a little bit. Maybe we'll pop over and check her out. All right, so here is a fantastic view of the Belgrade Fortress from the bottom. This is from the Sava along the promenade. There's a clear view of the statue. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful fort. We went all through that last year. We went through the medieval torture exhibit. We did pretty much everything in there. It's really nice. There's some nice bars, of course, up there. You can grab a beer and just hang out and check. We get these views. We were at one literally right up here somewhere. Yeah, right up on this terrace, and you overlook this entire area. It's absolutely beautiful. So definitely a great spot to go, and this is gorgeous. I'm highly thinking I'm going to pop over to New Belgrade and check that out. Looks like it's all been recently done, not like in the last year, but in the last little while. Lot of change. Oh my God, look at the Belgrade Waterfront developments. I was here just shy of a year ago, and of course there was tons of construction. It looks like there's even more now. It is really going crazy here. Like half the world must be moving here or something. The amount of buildings they are putting on the Belgrade Waterfront is absolutely it's crazy, actually. And not sure if you've heard this, if you're interested in Belgrade, they're moving the Nikola Tesla Museum down to the waterfront. The one that I went to last year, it's kind of small and cramped. Fantastic museum, highly recommend going. But when this new one opens, it's going to be huge. They're doing a very, very nice job. You can look it up. I actually follow the city or the municipality of Belgrade online, and it shows all the improvements. They are like redoing roundabouts, redid all the buses, they're putting in parking spaces and developing the city, like parks, everything. New markets and new market stalls and everything. It's really, really nice. Anyways, I'm gonna try to head up into the old town and get out of the river section. All right, so just before I head up to the old town, I decided to pop down just after that bridge and check this place out. This part of the promenade is lined with restaurants, cafes, all kinds of stuff. Gonna have to make my way down here someday, but I have to go meet my wife now. She was a little under the weather, so she stayed in this morning. So we're gonna go meet for lunch, but yeah, what a gorgeous part of the city this is. And as I mentioned when I was down on the promenade by the river, I said there's an amazing terrace to have a beer. This is it right here. Now that I've walked up all these umbrellas, that's the terrace. Not sure, it doesn't look like it's open today because it's February, but if you're here when it's a bit warmer, I was here last April and it was fully open. The views are amazing, and you'd be a little bit higher, so they'd be even better. And that over there is all Novi Belgrade or New Belgrade. Really, really cool looking, actually. Gonna have to take a trip over. So if you want to get out for a really, really nice walk like I just did, I'm gonna put a map showing the route, and I'll maybe drop it in the description also if you want to check it out. I basically started by Republic Square, went through the Bohemian district, and then straight down to the Danube, looped that all the way around till it turned into the Sava, and then up through Belgrade Fortress, and now I'm in Kalemegdan Park and just heading into the old town here. Takes a couple hours, and of course I stopped to film and you know, just I read every little sign and everything. But yeah, epic walk. I totally recommend it. And it's February and not even really that bad. It's a bit chilly this morning. Now I got no gloves on, no toque, and it's probably sitting around 0 or +1. So pretty nice and beautiful, gorgeous sights. So highly recommend checking that out. All right, so we just stopped for lunch here at Funk Soul, right off the main pedestrian street here in Belgrade. Amazing little place. If you're into craft beer and 90s music like Salt and Pepper, Milli Vanilli, and Vanilla Ice, it's like reliving your childhood, and the food is phenomenal. I had a chicken dish, absolutely delicious. My wife went with a burger. We visited last year when we were here and it was phenomenal. So come in and check out the craft beer. I could recommend the Funk U IPA, absolutely delicious. Really good menu, everything from burgers, salads to chicken and tortas actually. So give it a try. Funk Soul here in the old town of Belgrade. All right, good morning. Back out and at it here in Belgrade. I was gonna head over to New Belgrade actually, but it was -7 this morning when I left the hotel. So I said, let's head to the waterfront and we'll go to the Galleria. But on my way down, I noticed this big construction area here. Last year when I was here, that was like a bus station or a bus terminal. They got that all torn apart, and it looks like they're putting in a huge park actually, and some brand new buildings. This whole place is under development. I'll show you, look at this. Construction everywhere. Of course, these are probably some of the first that went in, and they're absolutely gorgeous buildings. Amazing, I love them. Some of them have nice big terraces where you could put like pots and some flowers and stuff on them. All kinds of services down here, coffee shops and you name it. And yeah, that was the old terminal that's under construction. So a lot going on down here in the waterfront. So we're just cruising along the Belgrade waterfront here, and we made it over to the new Belgrade Tower, of course, one of the huge landmarks here on the waterfront. We stopped into Cafeteria, one of my favorite cafes here in Belgrade. Went with an acai bowl and a fantastic espresso. They have a great selection of beans in there. Anyways, we're just heading over to the Galleria. You'll see it off in the distance. Great big huge mall. Fantastic food court and all that. So we're gonna go in there. We're sitting at about 0 degrees Celsius. And if you look over here, this is New Belgrade over there. You can see some of the old blocks off in the distance. And then of course, this is all the new business towers, hotels, stuff like that. And then looking back into the old town, you can see the depth of construction here. It's just everywhere. And they have this bridge now finished. I'm standing on it right now. And they put a, what do you call this? A glass floor in, which is kind of cool. So very nice. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful down here, and the work continues. Just gorgeous. And once you cross into the sun like I just did, you can feel the warmth starting to warm up. You can see how cold it is. Here's ice, very icy on the glass. But anyways, by the time we're out of the mall, it should be beautiful out. Probably +2 or 3, fingers crossed. Anyways, we'll hit her in there and have a cruise around. Yeah, I just love it down here. Amazing. All right, so we're just getting out of the Galleria, heading back to the old part of town. Absolutely gorgeous mall, full of beautiful shops, and they kind of did it in wings. You have like your kind of higher end section, your sporting goods section with like Puma, Under Armour, North Face and all that stuff. And what a selection of restaurants in here. If you're a foodie, this is going to be a destination. Everything from Italian, Serbian, of course they have like a fast food court also, but some really beautiful restaurants in there. I'll definitely be coming back at some point. We weren't overly in the shopping mood today, just kind of wanted to see how things have progressed since the last time we're here, and they are doing an amazing job. The decor of this mall is top notch. Really amazing. All right, we're just making our way back up into the old town. Came across this little market here across the street. Not gonna bother going into it because it's almost lunch, and I'm getting pretty tired, pretty hungry, so I need to go have a beer and something to eat. But you can see right up here, just at the top of the hill, that's Hotel Moscow. Fabulous place to stay. And if you're not staying there, definitely pop in for a meal. And they have the famous Moscow cake there that they're known for like a couple hundred years. Delicious. Anyways, we're gonna get up this hill and go and grab a bite. But yeah, that market looks like it might be fun to pop through there, maybe on a little bit of a warmer day. All right, so we just finished up lunch over here in the Bohemian district at Red Rose. Absolutely phenomenal. We started off with the traditional Serbian baked beans and a little cabbage salad. Very nice. And then my wife went with the lamb, which was absolutely phenomenal. Comes in like a clay dish, super succulent, seasoned very well. Absolutely, I highly recommend that. That's kind of what they're known for. That's what they recommended. I went with a simple pork neck, which was very good. And then we finished with a walnut pie, which was sort of like a baklava on steroids. It had either a little raisin and currant in the bottom, drizzled in maybe a honey, of course walnuts, and maybe a touch of cinnamon or nutmeg. Absolutely delicious. Highly recommend this place over here in the Bohemian district. Now we're gonna head to the hotel for a little siesta because we are stuffed, but phenomenal lunch. All right, so we're just having an easy day up here in the old town. I think we're on day 4 now. I got up pretty early and we went to that local bakery here. It's all in Cyrillic. I'm just dropped the name below. Fantastic. Highly recommend checking in there. You can get breakfast for 2 for about $5 or about 500 RSD. Really good. And then I had to go film a few videos, so not related to Serbia. There was just some brand stuff. So I went over to the Belgrade Fortress, and then I came back and picked up my wife, and I said, why don't we do the National Museum of Serbia, which is what's behind me. Absolutely fantastic museum. One of the best I've been in, actually. It starts on the bottom floor with some archaeological stuff. Dates back about 2.5 million years ago to Homo habilis, and then goes all the way up through the times. And then the upper 2 floors are artwork from all over kind of Europe, the former Yugoslavia, Serbia, of course. And it's absolutely fantastic, and all kinds of different art coming right up until like the modern age. And I'll tell you, some of the artwork from 400 and 500 years ago is better than the stuff nowadays. Plus they had some a coin collection for all the money from Serbia's history, which was quite interesting. They also had some weapons that were used throughout history and stuff. There is a lot packed in here. The price for 2 adult tickets was only 600 RSD, so a phenomenal value. You could spend quite a bit of time in here. If you're really into art, you're gonna love it. I like more of the history. I really enjoyed it. The artwork was nice too. And then they have some stonework, sculptures, tablets, of course, quite a bit of religious stuff in there, which was super interesting. So I highly recommend checking out this museum here in Belgrade, right in Republic Square. And now we're gonna go try to find a beer and some lunch. And tomorrow we're gonna head over to New Belgrade, check out the Palace of Serbia, Gardo's Tower, some of the Brutalism architecture. That'll be tomorrow. And yeah, definitely check this museum out. It's amazing. All right, good morning. I think we're on day 5 now. I went to Coffee Dream for a quick breakfast. Awesome spot, by the way. And now we're over in New Belgrade, or Novi Belgrade. I'm currently in Friendship Park, right along the Sava River, which is back that way. It's full of all kinds of like sporting stuff, skate parks, basketball, running tracks. This is the Museum of Modern Art, I believe. And we're gonna head up to the Eternal Flame, which is just over here. And we're gonna poke around the rest of this park. And then we're gonna head out to Gardo's Tower, which is about 30 or 40 minutes down. We're probably gonna try and catch a bus. The buses are apparently free now in Belgrade since January 1st of this year. So anyways, we'll get going. It's a bit windy, but the sun is out. It's supposed to be 7 degrees Celsius for the high today. So I'm looking forward to that. And over in New Belgrade, this is where all the new office towers are going up. You can see there's a big Microsoft building just off to my left. And there's plenty more, all kinds of hotels, office buildings. This is kind of like the, I guess would be the financial center or the business center of Belgrade now. And then we're hoping to also take in some of that Brutalist architecture in a little bit. We'll see how the weather plays out today. But hopefully we can get some of that in. It's a huge area over here. We walked from the old town over the bridge. We probably won't be walking back though. It's a bit of a walk, but anyways, it's absolutely gorgeous around here. So I'm just making my way over to the Eternal Flame, and I noticed when you look at the base of these trees, there's like a plaque all the way along kind of this boulevard, and they were all planted in 1961. And it says the genus or whatever, so Platanus acerfolia, whatever tree that is, but it says Muhammad Khan from Afghanistan. And the one just down there, just a couple feet, that was from Ghana. So I don't know if these are like marking, I don't know, ambassadors or dignitaries that came to the former Yugoslavia into Belgrade back in the 60s, but really interesting to see. I've never seen that. Unfortunately, I can't really read it, and I tried to Google translate it, but it won't pick it up on the rock for whatever reason. But fascinating little piece of history here. See, and here's another one, 1961, from India. And I don't know, I'll find out what acerfolia is. Must be some sort of tree. And they're all down this side too, the entire thing, all the way to the Eternal Flame. Kind of cool. I'll give you a shot of how grand this is. Well, and I'm not sure this one's supposed to be here, but it looks like it was damaged, and somebody had wrote Tito here. And if you know the history of the former Yugoslavia, Tito was the leader back in the day. All right, so there's an inscription here at the bottom of the Eternal Flame. Google's not really translating it, so I grabbed a shot, and I'll drop it below in the video. But it says something like homeland and they will kill me. That's what Google's saying, and it will not translate. I'm assuming that's the name of the quote. So I'll get back to you on that. So we're just making our way down the walking trail right along the Danube here. This is the Danube River, and behind all these are kind of floating buildings, or like kind of houseboats. That's what we call them back in Canada. This one here happens to be a hostel. There's also, well, there's a couple hostels. There's also some sightseeing tours, and an interesting thing that I've never seen anywhere outside of Serbia is splavs, which are like basically party clubs on the water. They are floating right on the Danube, kind of like this. I haven't come across one yet, but they're on Google Maps. They're all kind of along this stretch here. See, here's a nice hostel here. Be kind of cool. No idea what they're charging for a price, but really, really cool kind of a place to stay if you're in Belgrade. All right, so we decided to stop in for a little coffee. We stopped at the Arka Barka hostel and apartments, and they got a little cafe down there. Super nice guy. We were talking to him. He actually used to live in Boston, so that was kind of cool. And yeah, really nice. So we had a nice little coffee. Some of the guests were just finishing up their kind of continental breakfast. And yeah, now we're all warmed up, and we decided, since we had that nice jolt of caffeine, we're actually going to walk all the way to Gardo's tower. It's about another 4K, and we're about 4K into our day already, but we don't mind that. We love a good walk. So anyway, stop in here. Highly recommend it. Super nice guy, Arka Barka. And as you're going along the Danube trail here out to Gardo's tower, you'll see this is the Palace of Serbia, a big grand government building. You see all the Serbian flags. All right, here's a bunch more bars, restaurants. Not sure if these are the splavs that I was talking about, the party boats. They look like they possibly could be. It is February, so a lot of stuff is not really happening. But I'll show you back this way. There's a massive development going in here. It's called Danube Riverside. Looks like a couple buildings, a big plaza. They're gonna have a fountain and a big park. So lots going on over here. The views would be absolutely epic probably from here. Oh, and check out this statue. All right, well, I found a close-up of the sign here, and it looks like they're going to be putting a Ritz-Carlton in over here. So definitely some expansion. The size of this project, well, it's massive. I'll just stick the camera in. Absolutely massive. It goes all the way down that way. Wow, it's going to be huge. All right, so we just cut in from the water. I believe this is the Great Square, possibly, and they have a little vegetable fruit stand market going on. Pretty cool little spot in here. We had no clue it was actually in here. We're only about 5 minutes from Gardo's tower, so we're gonna head straight down here and hook a right, and we should be in there. But yeah, fascinating little place. The things you discover when you actually just get out and walk. This area back here in Zemun, or Zemun, whatever, however you pronounce it, it is an amazing little place. I never really knew much about it. We're standing now in Magistrate Square. It's absolutely gorgeous, lined with restaurants, cafes and stuff. Lots of different monuments, of course. Very, very, very nice place. All right, so we finally made it up to Gardo's tower here in Zemun. And it's part of an old fortress. They found Byzantine writings here. The walls behind me date back to about the 14th, 15th century, they believe. Pretty impressive tower, actually, from the outside. We're gonna go in. Apparently you can pay and go all the way to the top. We'll see if we can do that. There's a nice church in the background, and looks like a full-fledged restaurant over here. Not sure if it's open, but there is people going in. So we'll go have a look, see what's inside, hopefully make it to the top, and then after that we're gonna head back into that old town section, maybe grab a little bite to eat. But we'll see what we can get into in here. All right, so unfortunately Gardo's tower is closed. On Google it said it was open, and there's a note on the door. It's closed from the 4th of February to the 4th of March, and today is the 22nd of February. So we're not getting in, which is unfortunate, but it is very cool, and I will be back to Belgrade someday. I'll definitely put this on my list to go see. So right across from Gardo's tower is a Orthodox church here, and then the Zemun cemetery, and it was founded before 1740. And inside the cemetery they will have Catholic, Orthodox and Jewish graves. Not going to film a whole lot. It's packed with people. They're all cleaning graves and laying flowers and lighting incense and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna go in and film. That's a little disrespectful. I just have a couple shots from afar. Very nice. It is open to tourists, but today it's packed. It's a Saturday, so it must be the day to come and visit the graves. So we just took a quick walk through, and now we're gonna peel out of here. All right, so we just came down from Gardo's tower. I was starving, so we stopped in at Walter behind me, and that is a fantastic restaurant. If you're looking for some Serbian food, highly recommend that. If you're looking for a quick lunch, and it was absolutely delicious. Now we're gonna grab a bus and head over to the Western Gate of Belgrade and check out some of the old architecture. So we made it down to the Belgrade Western Gate behind me. Absolutely amazing building, huge. I didn't expect it to be this huge, only seen it in pictures. So this is the Brutalist architecture that everybody kind of raves about now. It's become quite the tourist attraction, actually. So we're gonna go a little closer. I figured I would start from here just because it's gonna be out of frame in a second. It is absolutely massive, but very cool kind of architecture. Nothing like I've ever seen. All right, it's actually really cool to see if you're into kind of the old communist style or just architecture in general. It's very interesting to come and see it. We're gonna head down towards block 23 now and check some of that stuff out down in that region. It's supposed to be pretty cool. So we're gonna head there, and that'll probably wrap up our day. So it's interesting, we're just walking down one of the main streets here, and then you see the old block style housing, and then as you slowly pan around, you see all these new buildings. Quite the juxtaposition from old to new. A lot of business coming in, and of course the old style buildings are still here. Very interesting to walk through. All right, so we're pretty tired, seen some of the cool old architecture, so we're gonna hop on the bus back. And all the buses here in Belgrade have electronic signage at every single stop with the countdown to the next bus, so super convenient. Anyways, time for a siesta. All right, so we're on day 6 here, and it's Sunday morning, so we're just gonna take it easy up here in the old town. Just wanted to say a little piece of advice yesterday. We went over to Novi Belgrade, or New Belgrade, and we did Zemun and Gardo's tower and all through Friendship Park, and then we went and seen some of the old Brutalist architecture. Don't try to do that all in one day. That was kind of crazy. We walked about 15 kilometers yesterday, and we took a couple buses, and it took hours. So if you're going to go out and do like Zemun, I hope I'm saying that right, that's like a day in itself. Go to Gardo's tower, go to Zemun, have a great morning, have some lunch in the square and stuff, and then leave the other parts for another day, because down by Friendship Park there's a massive mall. There's all kinds of stuff to go see, and if you want to go see some of the old Brutalist architecture, there's a lot of walking between buildings. The boulevards are huge and stuff is really spaced out. So I would say do that in 2 days over there, or maybe just do Zemun if that's what you're into, and Gardo's tower. It's absolutely stunning place, kind of like an old town right along the Danube. Absolutely amazing, but don't try to do it all in one day like us. All right, so we're on day 7 here, and I made my way up to Pioneer Park. And the interesting thing about Pioneer Park is when they were digging out the parkade under it, they came across all kinds of Roman artifacts, sarcophagus, and lots of other stuff. I'm not sure where they moved them to. I'm assuming they must be in a museum somewhere. I just walked around the entire park, but fascinating over here in Europe. When you dig something up, you find history from so long ago. And this park here, I'll drop the name in Cyrillic so you can find it on Google Maps, and it is right across from Parliament, so you cannot miss it, or the National or the Assembly of the House of Serbia. And we might pop over there and have a close-up of Parliament in just a second. So the monument here behind me is to celebrate the heroes from World War I, and it looks like a mountain, and what it represents is the mountain they had to cross when coming back from Greece to Serbia. So that's why it looks like this, and there's some of the heroes of World War I, and there's another chapel of the heroes of World War I about 629 kilometers away in, I'm not going to butcher that name, but I'll drop it below. So we were just walking around the park there, and a local Serbian couple came up to us and said, "Do you need some help finding where you're going?" And we were like, "No, not really. We kind of know where we're going." And then we were looking at Parliament, which is behind me, and they said, "Would you like to know some of the history about the Parliament?" I said, "Of course I would." So this is Parliament behind us, and it was built around the same time as the St. Mark's Cathedral, which is just over in Tasmajdan Park. We're heading there shortly. And she said they're both beautiful buildings done in like this very nice style. But then the socialist government took over and built this massive building to basically block out St. Mark's and impose the power of the socialist government over this era of time. It was kind of like a big pissing contest, basically. So I'm going to show you a shot of the building they put in the way, and you could just see the top of St. Mark's, but it is massive. Today there's a post office in there, but it is a very different and grand architecture compared to the Parliament behind me, which is also very grand. Beautiful building. Anyways, we'll head over to Tasmajdan Park and check out the church and all kinds of stuff over there. So you can see from here, here's the building, and just at the very top, that's the top of the cathedral. I'll give you a closer view of this building. All right, so we made it over to Tasmajdan Park. We stopped for a quick little coffee to warm up. The sun seems to have disappeared, and now we're going to make our way down to the Holy Trinity Church and St. Mark Orthodox Cathedral. So interesting monument here in the park. It's we were just children, and of course it's in reference to the illegal bombing of Serbia back in 1999 by NATO. Of course, they hit Belgrade, Avila Tower, and many other sites. So kind of a nice memorial here to, you know, for the victims and the people affected by the bombing in 1999. So we're just outside of St. Mark's Cathedral, and it was built from 1931 to 1940. It is modeled after a 14th century monastery. It is the second biggest church in Belgrade, of course, after the St. Sava Temple. We'll take a peek inside and go check it out. It is a beautiful church. If you see my video last year, I included it, and I'm back here again. Just love the churches over here in Europe, and specifically in Serbia. The Orthodox churches are absolutely gorgeous. All right, so it was a pretty chilly morning walking around outside, and I wanted to have a good lunch, so I'm back at the Funk and Soul pub here in Belgrade. Second time visiting. Started off with the squeaker, which is local Mirok cheese fried in olive oil, and then I ordered the beef ribs. It should be dynamite. The last time we were here just a few days ago was awesome. Highly recommend coming here. It's a great little place and a nice atmosphere inside. All right, just finished the appetizer, the squeaker cheese. Absolutely phenomenal. Think halloumi. If you like grilled halloumi, you're gonna love this, only it's in olive oil. Absolutely phenomenal. And if you're here, try the Motherfunker IPA. It's delicious. All right, so just finished up. The pork ribs were absolutely phenomenal. Nice little sauce, not too sweet, and they were fall off the bone. And I finished up with a Funk Off lager to die for. Anyways, definitely stop here at Funk and Soul Pub if you're in Belgrade and you don't know what to eat. Amazing. All right, if you're looking for a tasty little dessert here on the main kind of restaurant row, they have a place called Puffy Little Pancakes. You can get them topped with just about anything. We went with a forest fruit white chocolate kind of topping. These are dynamite, and like the premium version will run you, I don't know, 500 or 600 dinars. So super affordable, and they are freshly made. Very, very, very tasty. Amazing little dessert here. All right, so I'm over at the Belgrade Fortress. Just wanted to give you a view of New Belgrade, or Novi Belgrade. You can see that's the bridge. We came over there, and you can see all the new office towers. It's full of business, and right directly ahead is the art museum that we walked by the other day. And just poking up out of the trees is the Eternal Flame. You start to see some of the houseboats there going down the Danube. This is the Sava River here, and way off in the distance, I'm not sure if it'll pick it up, that is the Western Gate of Belgrade, the old Brutalist structure. And if you're looking to go down to Gardo's tower where we went, it's way down there around the bend. See where those buildings are off that way? That's where Gardo's tower is. Fascinating view perspective after walking through it, and then to come here and see it again. Yeah, we put on some kilometers that day. So if you're into football merch, I got two places that you can check out. I went to the Football Association of Serbia yesterday, picked up a branded hoodie. I love football merch. I try to pick it up wherever I travel. And then if you want a more local team here, there's the Red Star store just down. They're both down past Hotel Moscow. I'll drop the name of the road below in the subtitles, but whole bunch of different stuff, everything from jerseys, hoodies, t-shirts, socks, shorts, flags, scarves, everything you would need for cheering on a football team. Anyways, check her out if you like football merch. It's pretty cool. Just over at the Belgrade Fortress walking around, and it looks like they have a brand new attraction maybe coming this summer. Maybe it was open last summer. I was here last April, but it looks like some kind of medieval games. Like they have some archery and stuff going on. So interesting. Over on the wall there, it says welcome to the Eagle's Nest, and it says arena entry is just over here. So possibly a new activity over here at the Belgrade Fortress. All right, so for my final lunch in Belgrade, I went to the City Garden rooftop restaurant and bar right on top of the mall here on the main pedestrian street in Belgrade. Fabulous restaurant, great views if you sit outside. It was a bit colder today, so obviously the patio is not open yet, but they have a fantastic menu, pasta, burgers, wraps, of course, and then you can get into steak, chicken, and some Serbian dishes, which is what I went with. I went with a traditional Serbian sausage, came with some agvar, little nice European mustard, and some potatoes. Phenomenal place. The views are amazing. So stop in here, even if you're just going for a drink, or just a dessert, or actually a meal. It's a great place right on top of the mall. I'll drop the name below. I don't want to butcher it. And one more little tip, if you're actually entering the mall by the Starbucks off in the corner there, they actually have some old ruins daylighted when you enter the mall, and just before you enter the mall, you'll see daylighted old ruins. I believe they're Roman, but not sure. There's not a plaque. Looks like it though. Really, really cool. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up the Belgrade trip here in Kalemegdan Park. This is our last day, day 8, and it's beautiful, 12 degrees out. The rest of the week's gonna be 15 and 16. Unfortunately, we hit a bit of a cold snap, but it was a fantastic trip regardless. So yeah, we've just been hanging around the park, checking a few things out, stopped at the cafeteria for a nice espresso, and grabbed a fresh haircut for the trip home. Highly recommend checking out Belgrade if you've never been, and if you have been, kind of get out of the tourist zone, go out to Zemun and check out Gardo's Tower, Magistrate Square, walk the Danube. There's lots to see here. Check out that architecture, the Brutalist architecture if you're into that. There is so much to do. Hit up the botanical garden. That should be in bloom in the next few weeks or months here. So great trip overall. I hope you enjoyed the second video here out of Belgrade. If you haven't seen my first video from last April, definitely go check that out. I'll link it in the description below. Other than that, I think I'll sign off. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.